Welcome back to Eligible Monsters coverage of the Final Fantasy franchise, with us moving on to the Final Fantasy IV lore. As usual, I apologize for any mispronunciations, as these games in the early days, they were all through text and everyone pronounces them differently. War has spread across the land as the Kingdom of Baron is pushing forward, expanding its empire. The might of the Baron lies in its Red Wings Air Force, led by Lord Captain Cecil Harvey. The town of Mysidia, the town of the wizards, is attacked next, and the Red Wings acquire the Crystal of Water. Though he follows orders, Cecil begins to question the kingdom's actions. For his insubordination, Cecil is stripped of his rank as Lord Captain. He and his friend, the Dragoon, Cain Highwind, are dispatched to the village of Mist. There, they're tasked with delivering the Carnelian Signet to the people. The two soldiers fight their way through the Mist Caves, encountering a dragon guarding the exits. It is there that they destroy the beast, and they make their way into the village. They discover that the Signet was a trap, and it launches bombs into the village. Amidst the destruction, they find a little girl named Rydia. She kneels over her mother, who has summoned the dragon to protect the village. And though Cecil and Cain defeat the dragon, because they have a Dragoon with them, Rydia's mother has died. Seeing the destruction that the king has done through them, Cecil and Cain decide that they will fight back against the king's evil. They try to apologize to Rydia, but the little girl becomes enraged and summons a massive titan to fight them. And after it's defeated, the earth shakes and Cain suddenly goes missing, not wishing to leave the little girl behind. Cain takes Rydia to the nearest town, and he finds a room for the night with Cecil promising to protect her. In the darkness of the night, more of the king's men arrive to kill Rydia. But Cecil manages to fight them off, and the next morning they discover that Cecil's love, Rosa, has arrived in the town in search of Cecil. However, she has contracted desert fever, for which there is only one cure. So Cecil and Rydia begin their search for a sand pearl, which can be found in Damcyan. Along the way, they meet the sage named Tellah, who is also on his way to Damcyan. Tellah is searching for his daughter, who apparently ran off with a bard to get married. As they get closer to Damcyan, they see the Red Wings attacking the city, destroying the castle and capturing the Crystal of Fire. And in the city, they discover Tellah's daughter, who is mortally wounded. Her bard isn't really a bard at all, but is actually the Prince of Damcyan, Edward Chris von Muir. With her dying breath, Tellah's daughter stops him from killing Edward. And the prince tells them that the Red Wings killed his parents and that they are led by a new captain, Golbez. After Tellah rushes out to find revenge for his daughter, Edward helps Cecil and Rydia to find the Sand Pearl. They travel back to Rosa, curing her of her desert fever. She tells Cecil that the king is planning to attack the kingdom of Fabul, where the Crystal of Water resides. Rydia stays behind, but the rest of the group sets off, crossing Mount Homs and meeting a monk who joins the party. They arrive at Fabul, and they warn the king of the upcoming attack, and they decide to join the kingdom's defense. But the Red Wings are too strong, and the group is driven back. Amongst the forces is Cain, who doesn't seem to even recognize them. However, when he sees Rosa, he hesitates for a moment, giving the group the time that they need. And it is at that moment that Golbez arrives, easily defeating Cecil and his team. He kidnaps Rosa, and they make their escape. Cecil and the rest of the party attempt to pursue the Red Wings in a ship, but they're attacked by a massive leviathan that destroys the ship. Alone, Cecil washes up on the shores of the wizard town, Mysidia. The wizards curse him for the crimes that they have committed against them, and it is only the town elder who tells Cecil that he must travel to the top of the Mount Ordeals to take the oath of a paladin if he wants forgiveness for what he has done in the past. Cecil agrees, and the elder assigns two mages, Palom and Parome, to accompany him. On the mountain, they once again meet with Tellah, who is searching for the magical spell Meteor. As they reach the summit, Cecil can hear a strange voice in his head, and the voice tells him that he is Cecil's father, and he must defeat the Dark Knight. Cecil is tested by fighting a Dark Knight version of himself, but manages to defeat it only by defending himself. When this is done, he is imbued with the light to become a paladin. The group travels back to Mysidia, and Cecil is given the Mythgraven Blade. The village elders then tell the new paladin that they believe the legends of Mysidia told of Cecil's coming. Cecil and his party then sneak into the kingdom of Baron, where they discover that Golbez has seemingly gained control of everything. The king turns out to be an elemental fiend, and though the fiend is destroyed, Palom and Parome give their lives so that the group can escape a death trap. The party discovers Sid, an airship pilot, trapped in the dungeons, and they free him, and everyone manages to escape aboard his ship, the Enterprise. In their escape, Cain once more confronts them and bargains with Rosa's life for the Earth Crystal. The party travels to the town of Toroa, where they must defeat a dark elf who has stolen the Crystal of Earth. The townspeople agree to let Cecil borrow it to save his love. The group travels to the Tower of Zant, where they meet with Golbez, and though he is given the crystal, Golbez doesn't hold up his end of the deal, and he decides that he's going to keep Rosa. Tella launches the meteor attack, hoping to avenge his fallen daughter. Golbez is weakened by the powerful spell, and the brainwashing on Kane begins to wear off. Though he has the strength to defeat Cecil and his party, Golbez hesitates and instead retreats. With Rosa free, the tower begins to crumble around them, and quickly she teleports away. Back in Baron, Kane tells the group that Golbez plans on using the dark crystals to open the way to the moon. They set off from the Dwarven Kingdom, where they find the dwarves fighting a battle against the Red Wings. So Cecil and his friends try to protect the crystal, with Golbez arriving and quickly defeating them again. But they are saved when Rydia shows up, having grown to adulthood, and is now more powerful while training in Feymarch. Even though she proves to be powerful though, Golbez manages to steal the crystal and slip away. Aided by the Doors, and as a last-ditch effort, the group decides to attack the Tower of Babel to try and recapture the crystals. Yang the monk gives his life to destroy the Red Wing artillery, and Cid manages to save the party as they escape the Red Wings. But he also gives his life to destroy the passage, blocking the Air Force's pursuit. The party travels to the kingdom of Eblan. They aid the prince in getting revenge for his dead parents, and they manage to find the last crystal. But Kane quickly becomes controlled by Golbez, once again stealing it. Cecil is told that the only way to defeat Golbez now is with the help of something called the Lunar Whale. So the group travels to Mysidia, where the wizards and the elders summon the Lunar Whale from the depths of the ocean, and it turns out that the Lunar Whale is yet another airship, but this one is capable of traveling to the Red Moon. Cecil and his party board that ship, and they leave the planet. Reaching the Red Moon, the party meets a Lunarian named Fusoya in the Crystal Palace. The Lunarian tells that while his people wanted to colonize Earth, they decided to reside on the moon until they could live peacefully with humans. One Lunarian, named Zemus, decided instead to begin manipulating some of the Earthlings. His plan was to call forth the Giant of Babel to wipe out all of those who lived on Earth. Fusoya also tells Cecil that his father was a Lunarian who traveled to Earth to help and teach the people, and he had 2 sons. With Fusoya at their side, the group travels back to Earth to fight the recently revived Giant. They travel inside of the giant robot to destroy its CPU, and Golbez attacks them once again, but this time, Fusoya breaks through Zemus' control. Golbez remembers that he is Cecil's brother, and he joins Fusoya to return to the moon and defeat Zemus. Kane rejoins the group, and altogether they return to the moon. Fusoya and Golbez defeat Zemus, but instead of dying, he merely transforms into a being known as Zeromus. Golbez and Fusoya are quickly defeated, so Cecil and his friends are forced to defeat Zeromus themselves. With this done, peace can once again return to the land, and Fusoya once again goes into a prolonged slumber with the rest of the Lunarians, and Golbez stays with him. Cecil and his friends return to Earth as the moon drifts away into space. Various party members become rulers of the recently fallen nations, and Cecil and Rosa become married, and they rule over the kingdom of Baron. Once again, we are still in the early ages of Final Fantasy as a franchise, and due to that, it's kind of straightforward in a lot of these storylines. Heroes show up, heroes save the day. My brother put it best, a lot of these early Final Fantasy storylines just sound like basic Dungeons & Dragons campaigns. Wonder where it all came from. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know Cecil Harvey has a huge amount of fans going from Dark Knight to Paladin and the whole 9 yards. So let me know what you think of his character down below. And I'll see you guys next time right here at Eligible Monster.